Listen up, hockey fans. You're in the right place. A no-hold-barred debate between two hockey fans. Stay up to date on current issues in the NHL, even the controversial ones. Welcome to The Debate Hockey Podcast with your host, Brad Baroud.
It's time for the Debate Hockey Podcast, episode number 11. Tonight on the show, we talk about Spezza being a healthy scratch, Johnson's trade request out of Columbus, and what guys were snubbed from this year's All-Star selections. I'm Brad Baroud, joined alongside co-host Blake Friars for another episode of the Debate Hockey Podcast.
Inside Edge Hockey News on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Google+. Get connected.
Topic number one on the debate tonight, Spezza, a healthy scratch this afternoon in Monday afternoon's game. Thoughts on that, Blake?
It's a long time coming for Spezza, I think Hitchcock's really getting fed up with Jason Spezza. He's one of their assistant captains, and if you're assistant captain, you need to be producing to help your hockey club out. And right now, he's got 16 points in 44 games, and he doesn't have a goal in 14 games, and is pointless in his last 5. I mean, if I was Hitchcock, I would make him a healthy scratch too. Doesn't matter how much production he's had in his whole career.
You know, it was reported as a coach's decision, and GM Jim Neal expects that he'll be in the lineup on Tuesday night in Detroit. And the game, Dallas ended up winning it in overtime, 3-2 over Boston. So, a good win for the Stars. But you know, when you're looking at a guy like Spezza, who, you hate to compare, but he would be comparable. He's kind of one of those guys like a Bobby Ryan or a Thomas Vanek to me, where they have all the tools to be high-end, top-notch National Hockey League superstars, but seem to lack that heart or that effort and that drive on a nightly basis that would propel them into the star power in the league. And your expectations get so high for these guys because they're visibly talented. I mean, you can see that they have the capabilities to put up big numbers, but he just hasn't, and he's been that inconsistent, and it's got to be frustrating for the Dallas organization.
You look at his track record. He's an 8-time 20 goal scorer, a 5-time 30 goal scorer. But the thing with Jason Spezza is he's only had 2 full, healthy 82 game seasons in his whole career. He's been plagued with injuries most of his career, and like you say, he was one of the most consistent goal scorers in the NHL at one point, and right now, in the last 2 years, he's really fallen off the track. I mean, last year he had 50 points in 68 games, 63 points in 75 games, and 62 points in 82 games the last 3 years, but this year, he's really just fallen off the track. He's playing a career low 13 minutes a night. In and out of
he
the
averaged about 18 in his career.
Yeah,
18
he's
minutes.
5 minutes below, and it's one of his worst careers since his rookie year.
But you can hardly blame Hitchcock for, not giving him more ice time. I guess if you're not going to produce, you're not really earning that ice time.
And his cap hit is $7.5 million. It's just
which he's got
1 year left.
This year and next year on that contract.
Oh, it's 1 year left. No, I think
he's got all through next year too.
He's got next year too.
Yep. So I mean that's.
Do you trade him?
He's not
who
a
takes
UFA.
a chance on him?
He's
though?
not a UFA at the end of this year. Oh, trade him? How? What team in their right mind is going to take that?
Well, if they retain half of his salary,
Dallas can't afford to keep doing that.
Yeah.
Dallas has already done that with their goaltender issues, and you can't. Dallas isn't a market that can have $10 million sitting on the back burner.
Yeah.
Even if if they retain half of it, I don't think.
You don't think nobody takes a chance on him?
No. Well, they might at half of his contract.
Yeah.
But Dallas can't afford to keep half of it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Not their market. They just can't. And I think it's either going to be sink or swim. And I don't see him moving up a whole lot in the lineup charts. He's been running fourth line minutes. And quite honestly, his plays earned it.
Ken Hitchcock's one of the best coaches in the NHL. He knows what he's doing. He knows the buttons to push with his players. And maybe Spezza responds in a good way to it. He's a pro. He's 34 years old. Maybe this is the wake up call he needs.
It's funny. You watch this league, and anytime a star or a semi-star is healthy scratch, boy, the trade rumors instantly start flying and stuff. And I don't think that's the case in this one. Mm-hmm. I think this is a wake up call being sent from Hitchcock. Some guys respond well from that, and some guys fold up tent. And I'm interested to see what happens here. It's not something that Spezza's dealt with in his career. So it'll be interesting to see how the 34-year-old responds.
An interesting quote from the general manager, Jim Null. He says, quote unquote, I think he knows he can be better too, and we need more from him. He also said, I think we got a really good thing here, and he's a big part of it. He's one of our leaders, and we want him at his best. I mean, but 34 years old, do you really think that it's kind of a kick in the nuts if he gets scratched?
I don't think you can look at egos and I mean, so you're saying that it's going to bruise his ego?
You think so? Maybe not.
Well, how does
Who
it
knows?
not? But shouldn't his play? I mean, here there's two ways to look at that, though. Mm-hmm. Is it kind of a kick in the nuts to the Dallas Stars? They're paying this guy $7.5 million.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not paying somebody $7.5 million, and I'm going a 14-game goalless drought.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Yeah, there's that's not. He's not getting the. He's not worth. What he's getting right now. Not even close. He's not even a $3 million player right now.
So is it fair to Spezza? Yeah. Is it fair to the Dallas Stars? No,
absolutely not. No.
So the interesting thing is how is he going to respond to this?
To me, anytime a player gets scratched, they usually say, like, I got to get going, But the track record this guy has, I mean, you got to think he's going to get going. I mean, 2 years ago he had 33 goals. I mean, he's still got it.
He's got the tools around him in Dallas.
Well, for sure. You got Radulov, Sagan, Ben. I mean, they're stacked up front. I mean, if he gets going, maybe he shoots up the lineup. Maybe it's some more power play time to get him going. I don't know.
I mean, I'm a firm believer you can't take a good player and stuff him on the fourth line and expect a rise in his production. Mm-hmm. But I'm almost wondering if this isn't more than production. If it's just
in the doghouse staff, he's in the doghouse. Maybe
hate his effort lately,
mm-hmm.
And so you can't reward somebody struggling that's not trying by moving him up the line. You can reward a guy that's busting his butt but not putting in the points. And I think there might be. This is a wake up call from Hitchcock, but I don't think this is over. I think there'll probably be some more discussions on this. And we'll see where Spezza fits in on this.
Yeah, I was reading an article that said him and Ken Hitchcock have had numerous talks, but if the production doesn't come after the talks, then there's consequences, and that's what happened here.
Yeah, I don't think he's leaving Hitchcock any choice.
Inside Edge Hockey News, faking the slapper and going top shelf.
Topic number 2 in the debate tonight, Jack Johnson requests a trade out of Columbus. Aaron Portzline of The Athletic, which, by the way, is a great publication, and I highly recommend checking that out every day. But he reported that Jack Johnson, has requested a trade from Columbus, and a 31-year-old defenseman in the final year of his contract, going to be a pending UFA this summer. What's your thoughts on a player like Johnson requesting a trade?
I mean, the biggest thing is from Johnson. He said that he wants a trade out of Columbus to help his free agent stock for next year. I mean, you're on one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference right now in Columbus, right? I mean, if you don't like how much playing time you're getting, put in the effort, put in the work in the gym, get better. He had a career year last year, 23 points plus 23. Coaches reward you for good play. So if you don't like playing 13 minutes, play better. You'll get better matchups. You'll play 20 minutes. I mean, it's common sense. If you don't like, play better. If you don't like playing third pairing minutes.
I love the response from the Blue Jackets when he said that, and when he said he wanted to trade to help his value, and they said, why don't you just start playing better? That'll improve your market value here in Columbus. And Tortorella wants to keep him.
Tortorella said that Jack Johnson's...
He needs to be in the picture for this team to be successful in the postseason.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree with him. Now, he makes about... he's playing third-pairing minutes, but quite honestly, his play has been third-pairing quality, and he's a good third-pairing guy. He's got some tough guys to...
but third-pairing guys don't make $5 million.
Well, I know, but he's in his final year, and they're not going to be paying him $5 million next year. And I don't know.
He's not going to be on the Columbus Blue Jackets next year.
No, and I completely agree. But how much are you going to sign him for? And who's going to sign him? Somebody will sign him, but they're not signing him for that much.
Nobody's signed him for anything over $3 million the way he's played this year.
And it's been widely known that Johnson has financial troubles, and I said, but to me, I don't think a GM's going to be like, oh, the poor guy lost all his money.
No, the guy.
I'm going to give him more than he's worth. I don't. And at 31 years old, How much is he expecting? And how many years is he
signed a
expecting?
7-year, $30 million deal, and the guy goes bankrupt at age 26. Like,
and I know there was
dude.
problems with his parents and money, but still, like, you gotta have control of
You're
that.
26 years old. Why are you letting your parents even handle $10 million?
Yeah, and that's beside this point, and that's been widely talked about and been somewhat controversial. But
honestly, do you think, like,
I don't think a GM's going to be like...
I don't think he gets traded.
Well, I wouldn't trade him.
No.
Because look at this. Columbus is a team that has a chance to go.
They lack defense, too, and they're not just going to just give him up for nothing.
I like their defensive core. I like their top four. Yeah. Johnson fits in great in that third pairing. He's going to bring them depth. He's going to bring them maturity. And, he's definitely a guy that you would love on your third pairing in the playoffs. But you know what? Why, if you're Columbus, what are you going to get for him now? Not very much.
4th-round pick.
Yeah, you're not going to get much. So isn't he more useful in this run and hopefully a deep playoff run?
Yeah.
If I'm Columbus, I'm going to be like, thank you very much. Yeah. I signed you. You're playing this year, and we're going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's going to happen.
Johnson, like, this guy coming up in the draft, drafted by Carolina, 3rd overall, he gets shipped out to L.A., LA ships him to Columbus. The guy is just never really found his way with the team. He's bounced around a lot. I mean, this guy was supposed to be a really high touted franchise defenseman for Carolina, and he didn't pan out.
And he claims he's happy in Columbus, which is good. And he requested this trade to raise his value, and I completely disagree with how he's handling this.
I agree 120% with Tortorella. I mean, if you want to raise your value, play better. It's simple.
Yeah, and we're also a better showcase on a team that Columbus, which I think is a pretty decent hockey team.
Yeah, they're good.
And they're maybe one of those teams that once they get into the playoffs this year, just watch out.
They said that last year though too, and they didn't pan out, but they did play Pittsburgh though.
But I mean, you don't know what's going to happen there. They definitely have the capabilities of having a strong postseason. And quite honestly, if you look at Jack Johnson's numbers, his postseasons have been strong.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's wrong in this. I think that what he needs to do
rescind your trade clause
is be quiet.
Yeah.
Go to your team and say, I'm here for you guys. We're going to do this. Let's make this happen this year and play out your contract. And then if you're worried about your money, let your talking down the stretch here.
Let your play. Yeah, do the talking.
Do the talking and you pull your salary off of how you're playing instead of, general managers aren't going to pay you off what you talk.
Mm-hmm.
They pay off what you play.
Yep.
NHL news, opinions, and controversy.
Topic number 3 on the debate tonight. All-Star Game selection. And who were the snubs this year in the All-Star selections?
There's a handful of snubs. I mean, if you go to look at the list, Philadelphia's got a few. Pittsburgh's got one. Vegas has got a couple. Toronto's could have a couple. I mean, the biggest snub for me, I think, is Jakub Voracek. I mean, 43 points, 8 goals, 45 assists, 53 points. He's 6th in scoring and is a plus 10 or plus 7.
Yeah, I mean, he's in 43 games, he's got 45 points and
53
only 8 goals. Yeah. But I mean,
yeah,
53 points in 43 games is pretty impressive. And a guy that I kind of have as my biggest snub, I guess, was Anders Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And the Islanders forwards tied for 3rd in goals with 25, 40 points in the season. He's one that stands out in a league that wants goal scoring. You got a guy like Anders Lee who virtually
came out of nowhere.
Scores a goal almost every single night, and he's not on it. Other guys, Vladimir Tarasenko, superstar in this league.
Mm-hmm.
He's 18th in points with 44 points. He's got 19 goals, 25 assists. I don't know.
Plus 16 too.
He's another guy that should be up there.
William Karlsson too, 23 goals, 37 points. He's a plus 22 for Vegas. He's
5th in goals.
He's one of their best players on the team so far, and also one of his line mates, Jonathan Marchessault, 41 points, 39 games. He could have made it too.
Yeah, when you look at this, and we can go through some more too here, but one of the things that stands out to me on this is the selection process.
Yeah, to me,
first of all, you can't
You can't let the fans
You
vote.
can't let the fans vote.
Like, look at last year. John Scott makes All-Star game. Absolute joke. The GMs need to get together. They need to pick the best players that deserve to go there. You can't let the fans vote because they're going to vote for favorites.
The problem that comes in is with having one from every team, which I do agree with.
I do like that too.
But it also creates the problem of why a lot of Philadelphia Flyers aren't on there, and why a lot of players aren't on there, like Anders Lee and stuff like that. Is it hogties because you can only have so many people go.
Yeah, 3-on-3 now too. If this was,
and we could talk about. I hate the All-Star game the way it's set up. I hate everything about the All-Star game. I always have. I have actually a previous podcast where I talked about some ideas to make the All-Star game better. That was on the Instigator, and I think the whole thing needs reform. If you're not truly gonna have the GMs pick the best players, and you're gonna let the fans do it, then you can't call it an All-Star game. Call it a Heroes game.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, I think Sidney Crosby is one of the best players in the league. I think he's great, and I know the fans want to see him play, but he's not having an All-Star year.
Yeah.
He is a hero in the league.
Yeah.
He's a superstar in the league, so call it the Superstar Classic, whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. But he's not an All-Star this year.
Yeah, he's
and I'm not knocking Sidney Crosby. He's just not having a great year.
Yeah.
And he's allowed it. But, if this truly is an All-Star award, you have to have guys like Phil Kessel, who's 7th in points at 52. You have to have a Sean Monahan. He's tied for 8th in goals in the league. 42 points. He's got 21 goals, 21 assists. And to top it off, he's got a ridiculous amount of game winners. Mm-hmm. Sean Couturier, 25 goals. He's tied for 3rd in the National Hockey League.
Mm-hmm. And you look at goaltending there, Sergei Bobrovsky, Freddie Anderson, even John Gibson, who was really a rock in Anaheim when all those injuries occurred. He really kept him in the playoff hunt.
And as much as I like Braden Holtby, it's probably not his year to be in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
And it's tough, and we could go round and round, and I hate the format, and I think that's probably why.
You think it's just go back to East versus West, 5-on-5, or do you like the 3-on-3?
No, I don't like. I think it's entertaining because it makes it more realistic to real hockey. But I'm not a big guy that's got to have goals to be good. The problem with All-Star games is something that the league. It's not their fault. They can't fix it.
The players really don't try.
Well, you can't have guys going out there beating each other up and playing for real.
Yeah.
Well, watching a men's league, beer league hockey game with superstars in it isn't really a real hockey. So until you play for something where there's going to be checking involved and true hockey plays, it's just going to be a pickup game. So what I do to myself for that weekend is I let myself step away from the game and refresh that weekend. I'll watch the game, but I watch it totally differently. Otherwise, I get mad because it's so not watching hockey. And, we got these skills competitions and stuff, and I love the skills competition, but have it a true skills competition. Have the players all have skills competitions within their teams, which most teams do, and you have to send your best representative in the, like the top 8 in the Western Conference go for speed, top 8 in the Eastern Conference go for speed. And I don't care if he's an all-star or not. If he's your fastest, if he's in the top 8 in the Western Conference, he goes to skills night.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really truly want to know who the hardest shot is in the league, you kind of have to have the hardest guys shooting it, right? Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I think it's a showcase for the fans. I know it's done for the kids, and you get the kids into the rinks, and I'm all for that. But, what do you think some of these guys are thinking? It's like, holy cow, I'm 3rd in goals in the league. Well, I guess I get a vacation. You know what's going to happen, too? It's going to be like every year. You're going to have 5 guys that are mysteriously injured or mysteriously whatever, or 3 guys.
Get replacements.
And then they get replacements. And then, what really scares me about it is, and I understand it's for the fans and the league has to do it and the league's hands are tied. This isn't the league's fault.
Yeah.
But the problem is here, look at what a disgrace the NFL Pro Bowl is. So you look at a player and it's got, 9-time NFL Pro Bowl. That gives me no validity.
No. I mean, my favorite All-Star game used to be the MLB because
they had to play for something.
Whoever won that game gets home field advantage in the World Series, and now they really cut that. They just cut that out this last year, and now the All-Star game really means nothing. I mean, could the NHL do something like that, or Do you think that would make it more entertaining?
Well, I don't think it would change.
Go back to East versus West, and the winner of the All-Star game, 5-on-5, they get home field advantage in the Stanley Cup final.
Home ice advantage, you mean?
Home ice advantage in
I
the Stanley Cup final.
I had to give you a hard time on that one. No, you know, I don't think that would change the style of play.
No?
No, I don't, because I think it would still be run and gun.
East versus West, though?
Yeah.
5-on-5?
I don't think it would change it, because I think people still wouldn't hit. They wouldn't.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do it.
It's hard to say.
Would you want to? It's like, oh, geez. You know, oh, great, you know. Jonathan Toews tears his ACL, and he's out for the rest of the season because he got dumped by Dion Phaneuf in the All-Star game.
Yeah. Dion Phaneuf would never be in the All-Star game. That's a bad example.
That was bad. And Jonathan Toews isn't going to make it this year either. I think of the world of him, but he's not going to make it. But
Brock Besser, the All-Star stud.
Well, you know, that's another one. I don't know. You know, they got to do something to liven this up. You know what? You know, my idea really was this should be the only outdoor game of the year.
The All-Star game?
Yeah.
Nah.
Because I hate outdoor games. I think they're horrible. I think they're too important to be playing outside. I mean, so the All-Star game would be perfect.
The 100th year game, though. I mean, that was good though.
Okay, that's the only one. You know what? Honestly, talking about outdoor games, I would probably be good with one a year.
Yeah. Not World Juniors, though.
Well, no. But I'm not cool with 4
Remember the Stadium Series?
Well, yeah.
5 in 1 year? It's like Anaheim and L.A.
That was the best one.
Outdoor. That was the best
That
one.
was the best one.
Go to the game in shorts and a T-shirt, sunglasses.
I watched that game. That was one of the best ones.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
You know. The one that sticks out in my mind the most, though, was the Detroit-Toronto one.
In the snow shootout?
I don't know why that was overtime.
Matthews scored the OT winner.
I don't remember that, but yeah, I think you're right there. But that was one that stood out to me.
That was a San Antonio game, no?
No, it wasn't.
No.
I just think the All-Star, you know, you're always going to have snubs. You know, every year we could sit and do a show on the snubs. But I do feel bad for like a Tarasenko or a Kessel or a guy like William Karlsson who had
came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Nobody thought that he would, you know, do that, but
here's a question.
It's been a good story.
Who takes Victor Hedman's spot in the All-Star game? Out 3 to 6 weeks.
Is this a loaded question? Because I told you a minute ago I didn't even look at that yet, and you named your guy. So tell me your guy.
Well, Scott, like when you look at it, Morgan Rielly is really the only logical option in the Atlantic. I mean, there's really no other defenseman that's got as much points as he's got 31 points in 45 games. See,
you know what?
He's a -1 though. That's
what?
big.
That's what really ticks me off about this and the Vezina and stuff. They don't put the best defenseman in the. Yeah. They put the best scoring defenseman.
Okay, so I got a question here. What do you look at when you're picking an all? Do you look at just points? You look at plus minus. You look like.
Well, it depends on the situation.
Yeah, like
if we really wanted to get down to it, when we're picking centers, we should look at their face-off percentage, along with their plus minus, along with their points.
That's for like a Selke though.
No, I'm talking if you're talking true the best center in your division, or it should boil down to stats such as that. Defenseman, it shouldn't just be like, oh, Brett Burns has got 14 goals. He's the best defenseman. Now, I'm not knocking his defensibility because I think Brett Burns is a good defenseman. But it's the Vezina the Norris every year. To me, I get frustrated because it's like, well, is he really the best defenseman? We're calling it a defenseman. Or is he the best scoring defenseman?
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that we get lost in the mix, and that frustrates me a little bit. So when you're looking at this, if we truly were picking the All-Star, that's how centers should be looked at. Yeah. Wingers should be looked at with points, plus minus. Defensemen should be looked at plus minus first, and then assists, and then goals.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the presence, like what part of their team do they play? You know, I think a lot of variables come into play like that.
Yeah. But it also depends what kind of team you're playing on. I mean, like, you're talking about like Brett Burns, their D-course
good,
pretty good, you know, I mean.
Real good.
Yeah.
They're a good, solid defense team. We have a lot of teams that have, you know, we always say how defense wins championships. There's a lot of teams that have really bolstered their defense, but I'll watch the All-Star game. Will you watch it, Blake?
I'll probably watch the skills competition. Little bit of. I'll probably watch the Pacific. Just watch Brock Besser score a couple goals here and there, but that's about it.
it's entertaining. It's fun. I like that they went to the 3-on-3. It is more entertaining than the 5-on-5. I just wish that the thought process for who was an all-star wasn't picked by the fans, but was picked by the GMs.
Inside Edge Hockey News, lighting the lamp and raising the cup.
Thanks for joining us on the Debate Hockey Podcast. Check out Inside Edge Hockey News for all your hockey news. Follow us on all forms of social media, and don't forget to download the debate on your favorite podcatcher. Check us out on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeart, and YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy this week's hockey action.
InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com, your inside source for interviews with players and members of the hockey world. InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Debate Hockey Podcast with your host, Brad Baroud. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com and on Twitter at InsideEdgeHOCKE and Facebook at Inside Edge Hockey News. We'll catch you next time.
This episode was produced by Inside Edge Hockey News Radio and distributed by the Inside Edge Hockey Media Group.